All right. So your underlying energy is the lovers. Ooh. I need that. King of Swords. Y'all. Very similar to, I think, Capricorn's reading. They had Temperance and the King of Swords. So either it was Sagittarius or it was Aquarius. Is then I was thinking of when I was talking to Pisces and their reading with their situation that kind of was very similar to their stuff. Okay, so yes, family. So you got some stuff going on with love, okay? Choosing your head of your heart. Now, there was a lot of logical head. You were picking your head for a while now, and I think there is a situation that's come up where your heart is screaming louder than your mind is, okay? Your emotions are kind of going a little crazy. And it's because, obviously, right, you've been more detached. Definitely not your energy. On the defense, protective of your emotions. You were slicing and dicing folks. Or you were associating yourself with somebody that was rather stern, rather good to communicate with, very open to communicate with, an air sign, potentially Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this person definitely came from a place of honesty. They may have gotten the honest. They may have made an honest person out of you, or you made an honest person out of them. Either way, you've been protective, you've been defensive, you have been slicing and dicing people, cutting people out of your life, being real fierce and being real scary with that sword. And now I feel like there's some sort of soulmate connection or some sort of connection, profound connection between you guys. It's definitely starting to allow yourself to separate yourself from your mind in that cage that you put your emotions in to protect it. I mean, I know, right? It's like, well, it's not a cage. No, it is because you're protecting it, right? You protect something, but unfortunately, sometimes when you protect something, you smother that thing, which is most of the time. So I feel like this situation is now opening you up to love, opening you up to love, opening you up. If this is a relationship, or if this is a career, if this is anything, opening you up to love. What do you love, Aries? And that's the biggest question now, because here you have the High Priestess crossed by the Chariot. Okay. Now, the High Priestess, as we're going to get started with this, the High Priestess is very passive. She doesn't do anything. But she's one of those things, she's one of those cards that indicate that you're definitely trusting your intuition, going with the flow. You're not pushing or enforcing something. You're not forcing anything to happen. And I think the challenge is perhaps opening up and being susceptible to love. Not controlling everything and just allowing things to just be. Now, the obstacle is the control aspect. Perhaps controlling yourself in a way that is balanced. Because there's nothing wrong with willpower. There's nothing wrong with pushing yourself into a certain limit, right? As long as it's healthy, as long as you're not going to mess something up. It's very PT-like, right? Very personal trainer, coach-like, thinking like push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. But, the coach will never push you to the point where you end up breaking something, hurt yourself, spraining a muscle, whatever. Excuse me. But the Chariot here is also talking about inaction when it's crossed like this because of some sort of balance, or really pushing a certain aspect more than another side is willing to give. So you're creating a serious imbalance when you're trying to make a chariot. You make yourself go. You're making yourself do something. And at the same time, right, you may be feeling not so victorious, right? You may be feeling unvictorious at this moment because you're trying to force something that ain't going to work. Okay, it may not be working for you, but here's the thing, right? With the Chariot coming up is this: it's like you can move, you can still take action if you wanted to, but your mind perhaps is the dominant aspect of the whole Chariot thing in the first place. Like your mind is probably up and ready to go, but your heart is not fulfilled. Your heart is not there. So your heart is not with that, or it is trying to get with it, but it's on a different plane. It's on a different mindset. It's like it's on a different level of understanding, because you have to get your mind and your heart to understand each other. And if your mind is at a different level and your heart is on a different level and it ain't understand each other, it ain't gonna understand each other. It's not gonna try to. It's like, you know what, fuck it, I don't give a fuck, I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. But the Chariot's like, the Sphinx is like, no, this is how we were doing this here, we're going to go that way. And the heart's like, no, I'm not feeling it. Pun intended. So the higher priestess, to me, the challenge is about being open to what you love, being open to your emotions, and not kind of using the King of Swords as a way to protect yourself and keep yourself balanced out. Because the way, like, I understand, right? You've gone through some things where people have, hurt you, and you're tired of that mess. You want people to come to you with honesty and the truth. You don't want to deal with individuals that play with anything less, right? You want some serious stuff coming up, and I feel like you guys have gone through a serious hell of some changes when Leo was in the North Node this whole entire year. But how you guys go about moving now forward is embracing the emotions, and you have to accept the insecurities of that being emotional too. So that's the high priestess, letting it all flow through. And unfortunately, right, as well, as hard as it is, I shouldn't say unfortunate, as hard as it will make you guys feel so much better because you guys are not signs that primarily use your brain. Not in a sense that's saying that you guys are stupid or you guys try to be stupid or anything like that. No, you don't use your mind like that. That's an air sign quality. You guys are more, okay, this is what I want, I will do it. You guys are that's why you guys have the Emperor, the Four, the fourth card in the tarot. You guys get shit done. Us air signs, we're the ones sitting here thinking and might go driving ourselves nuts and not letting things happen. That's us, okay? Except for Aquarius. Aquarius is a little different. But like Gemini, Libra, we get stuck on our mind as a loop and we can't get out. Y'all don't do that. So it's really concerning for me when I see that, when I see the King of Swords like that, and I see the High Priestess here with the chariot. It's like, you're not being Aries. And it's understandable. Your whole year has been really stressful and hard for you. But you don't use your mind like that. You don't use your mind to bind you in a certain direction or keep you in balance or keep you from doing anything. That's what us air signs do. Like, we shouldn't be doing that shit either, but you don't use your mind in that regard to sabotage your own action. So, in the past, here with the Two of Pentacles, yeah, there was a lot of juggling, a lot of decisions to make, indecisions perhaps. But the thing is that there was a lot of keeping the balance too, like trying to maintain a certain order in your life. Again, pushing your emotions back because you're just being more responsible than anything. Some of you guys are trying to make practical decisions and your emotions were not involved in it for a little bit. But I do think that you realize the importance of your emotions being involved in making decisions of such practical nature, because that is where you truly get your value system from. Where you truly, figure out what is of value to you, by looking at how you feel about what these pentacles show you. Because if these are two things that you have no interest in emotionally, they mean nothing. And I feel like that's the thing you guys may have discovered. What truly is, what makes you feel good? What makes you feel happy? What can you get out of it? And if you can't get shit out of that, then you're not interested. It's done. It's like, forget it. Some of you guys may have been involved in a third-party situation, whether you guys were the person that was juggling the two people, or the person that was one of the people that were being juggled. But I still feel like you guys connected with your intuition and you found your value and you figured out whether or not this is something you really want to continue. If the person that you're involved with is someone you want to move on with, or you wanted to find your own way of being independent, or finding your own relationship that makes you feel good about you, right? All in all, though, you have the Knight of Wands here. So I like this energy, too. It's still like fire energy, and I like that. No swords coming up other than in the Page of Swords, which I'm going to be comparing in a second. But you have the Knight of Wands here. Very focused on how one feels in the moment, okay? Exploring their authentic self, figuring out who they are in the moment. And you guys are feeling that fiery energy, I think. Some of you guys, this is about rediscovering yourself all together. Because the Knight of Wands can, like I said before, is going in the direction of discovering oneself. It's also, being in the moment, and he's passionate about what he's doing. He's always passionate about what he's doing. He's always excited about what he's doing. He's always excited because this is something that he truly wants to do. This is something that he's truly invested in doing, right? The second that it's not fun, the second that he's not getting anything out of it, he's outie, 5,000. Because it's not giving him that fiery pleasure that he's looking for. Not that everything needs to be that way, but he doesn't do anything that's boring, mundane, that doesn't really give him that reason to live kind of feeling. It's almost like a reason to die if he's doing something that's not fun. And I feel like that's what you guys are really discovering of yourself. But that's because you're opening up small bits. You're opening up to who you are, and it's being brutally honest with yourself. Being brutally honest with yourself, probably the Page of Swords, right? Now, for some of you guys as well, and I have a really weird suspicion about this, for some of you guys may be spying on your ex and finding reasons to continue to be, defensive. I have the feeling. So be careful of that. There could be also somebody spying on you because you have the Page of Swords and the High Priestess. That the Page of Swords is in the external energy. So that means this is shit that's outside of you. I use the Page of Swords here as personal because it can be, and usually it is because it talks about a message of truth, and it could be that you have some sort of information or somebody's contacting you that you know there's a player, someone that you know is unreliable, and or someone that you feel is unreliable, and they're contacting you. Could be a Sagittarius that you're contacting. They're not necessarily unreliable, but they can still. This person could be like trying to contact you. Maybe this is someone that's fun that you're trying to contact you, or that's communicating with you in a very blunt manner, or you being very honest with them. All in all, though, there could be somebody that's ultimately spying on you, and just because you're in a really public forum, right? You're in a public domain. It's like a social media account or something like that. Somebody's doing their research, and the High Priestess is right there, so that definitely gets me caught out there. But I don't know. It's good that you guys could be doing this to someone else, for all we know. But the point of it all is that you guys are. I really feel like you guys are being more honest with that, with the fact of the matter of what is it that you enjoy out of everything that in your life, relationship wise, work wise, lifestyle wise, and changing that accordingly. Because this is still immutable energy. Changeable. That's what mutable means. Changeable. So you changing stuff. You're going through that change right now. So no way you're going to be balanced. You're in the process of doing the changing. But I feel like the emphasis is going with your heart, listening to your intuition. Because there is no right or wrong way to do something, and you can't logically do it. And I think that's the thing, right? I think you're noticing that. The Lovers and the Chariot and the High Priestess, you know that honestly, as much as you want to be very, protective and slice people with your sword and be very logical about it, you can't, because it doesn't get you the pleasure that you deserve, that you feel you deserve. Again, it's giving you reasons. It's not giving you reasons to live. You want to find something that makes you feel like you have a purpose or a reason to live. Right? Even if it lasts 5 seconds, it's a reason to live. Because it gives you that feeling. It gives you that passion. It makes you feel hype about it, or at least gives you that motivation that you're looking for. Now, as you grow, as you continue to be open to your emotions, you have this Ace of Wands here. And I like that energy. You start something brand new. You know where you're starting out with. You know that where you're coming from, your true, authentic piece of yourself. You're ready to make something out of that. Whether this is a relationship, right? Based off of how you truly feel about a person, that will really fiery passion, taking action on an individual. Not like literally nothing necessarily intimate per se. I mean, you do have the High Priestess here, and you got Pomegranates, which is a very sexual kind of connotation or symbol in the High Priestess's card there. But I really feel like with the Ace of Wands, you take action on what you feel you're led to, because you have, because you feel something toward it. You have an emotion toward it. Like I say before, wands are action influenced by emotion. And I feel like you guys are feeling more influenced by your emotions at this point. You're influenced to move forward. You're inspired to keep going, to start something, because your emotions are backing you 100%. You feel good about it. It's something you're ready to put all of your eggs in. But your goal and ambition is the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like you guys want to be want to start something awesome, right? But you want to feel like it could lead to something awesome too. Here's the thing. Here's 2 things I'm getting from this. You want to feel independent, but you also want that security. You also want a security of being in a relationship, knowing that you are that person's person, and that person's your person. Hopefully I said that right. You are their person, and they are your person. That attachment, right? But I also think that in order to do that, you have to commit. You have to make it known. You have to let that person know, hey, you know what? I like you like that. and take that leap of faith and go ahead and do it. Now, I know there's no fool card or anything like that, but you have the High Priestess here, which talks about trusting your intuition. And I feel like when you trust your intuition, that talks about walking in the dark a little bit, because you don't know where it's going to lead. You just trust that you'll make the right decision, that you'll go in the right direction. You go in the direction that you really feel like will benefit you. And I feel like with the Queen of Pentacles is this. You do want a sense of commitment. You don't want to just, just have a frivolous relationship or frivolous relationships, period. And I feel like you want to actually buckle down and make something of something that you feel passionate about. You really want to commit to something, to something that you feel reflects the value that you see within yourself. Something like, you have a good value standard. And I feel like you really want to find someone or find a relationship or find something that really reflects that value system in yourself, how you feel about yourself as far as value goes. And you can, but you have to act on that value too. But you have to commit to it too, as well as what I mean. It's like, if this is something that you truly want to commit to, waiting for this person is the last thing you want to do. Because if you feeling it before if you feeling it, you feel it. But expecting them to say something to you, waiting for them to communicate with you, I hate that, to be honest with you. I hate when people say that they're gonna wait on somebody, because they're letting the time go, they're letting time pass, and they're not taking advantage of the moment of what they feel. If there's somebody around you at this moment that you feel something for, why let the person step up? Why don't you just do it? Why don't you take control, be the magician, and create the future that you want, create the relationship that you want, take control? Because the Chariot is still what's crossing this. The Magician is your outcome. You guys are in control of your destiny. Why leave it up to the hands of somebody outside of you? Why determine your worth or your value, or determine a relationship at all outside of you? You commit to it personally, sure, definitely. But if this is somebody here that you feel like you're led towards, that you feel a connection to, go ahead and make that known. And I read these cards without any sort of gender roles specification here. Nobody is entitled to a message. Nobody is entitled to being told, to being asked out first. I'm a woman, okay? And yeah, Aries, yeah. I have literally asked out, I will say, about 5-6 guys in my entire life. All right? Probably more than that, and I'm just, those are the ones I can remember. But I have never ever. The thing is that I very rarely do I ever let a man ask me out. I would love that. I would love to know what that's like, but I know what I feel. My Mars and Venus are in Sagittarius. I'm not gonna sit there and wait for this person to tell me if they can go out with me or not. Because by the time I wait, because I've done that too. I've waited, and they find somebody else. So don't let the time pass. If you want this person, if you know this person is yours, if this is somebody you feel like you have a great connection with, commit to them emotionally. But then that Page of Swords is there for a reason. Talking, communicating bluntly, And don't let this dream be a dream. If you have a connection with this person, take control. The obstacle is not taking control. There's very passive energy. The challenge may be, this. Maybe you've already expressed to this person already how much what you feel about them. You may have. So therefore, there's really nothing you can do further. If you already said I want to be in a relationship and you have to wait on them, you have to wait. But if you haven't, don't let this pass. Don't let this pass. Be the magician. Because this is talking about knowing that you have everything that you need to start something that you want. The magician waits on nothing. He's got all his tools. And if he doesn't got all the tools, he utilizes the skills that he's got, that he knows he has. Take advantage of that, family. Do not let that sit there and waste.